Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of RV Business Capital Talk, sponsored by Excel. I'm Rick Kessler from RV Business. I'm joined by Sherm Goldenberg from RV Business, and we are in Middlebury, Indiana, on the campus of Jayco and its family of companies to learn a little bit more about the integration of Heartland and its divisions into Jayco. And we're joined by Ken Walters, President CEO of Jayco, Nic Martin, Vice President of Sales for Jayco, and Kyle Miller. Kyle is the General Manager for Heartland and its divisions, handling the sales operations.
Correct.
Well, back in March, I think, I know speaking for Sherm, we were caught off guard. I'm sure you weren't, but news broke that Heartland and its divisions would be integrated into the Jayco campus and its family of companies. Yep. And here we are some months later, and we're all wondering what that means.
Thanks, Rick. So, it started with a conversation with Bob and the team at Thor about, evaluating what Heartland is and what it was going to be. And so I think about mid-March, I've kind of lost track of time now, that we met that leadership team and started to go through that evaluation process. And to be honest with you, we probably thought we would shrink back a bit to Howe, maybe one campus, and start to regrow the company. And as we got into the information and dug in further, we felt like full integration in Middlebury was a better plan. A lot of different products. When you start talking about a DRV mobile suite, all the way down to a bunch of stick and tin product, and trying to be built in a few number of campuses, a few number of production lines created a lot of challenges with that. So after a few weeks of a lot of conversation and again, a lot of evaluation, we made a determination we were going to bring it to Middlebury and start to not strip it down to the studs, but more to the foundation kind of thing, and start from there. So that's where we got, and that's the announcement that you guys, I think, made for us in March. And we've started that process, and here we find ourselves in July with 5 or 6 protos offline of the single lineup of product. And I think Nick said it maybe a couple months ago, but the analogy's awesome in my mind. Is Heartland's moving back in with its parents for a while, so we're gonna share bathrooms and go through the challenges of a couple families living in a single house. And but we feel really strongly with our track record, with the foundation of what Jayco is and has been for a really long time, the leadership team, that we felt like it was a really good spot to start and restart or reintroduce Heartland as a lineup of products.
I love the analogy. I guess that means you're living in the basement.
No comment.
I got a kind of a bold question. Your campus is beautiful and it's big, but is it big enough?
That was a huge part of the conversation as we started to evaluate. One of the things that that was important to us at Jayco, and then critically important to Thor and their leadership team as well, is don't screw up what you're doing at Jayco, because again, I think the stat surveys and dealer sentiment will tell you what's happening at Jayco's working really well, and it was important that we didn't screw that up. So we don't have a capacity concern as we integrate that product in. We have a CapEx approved from Thor already for a new plant. Okay. We're in the process of doing a CapEx for a second new plant. We did inherit those Heartland facilities, and we'll keep the North Middlebury facility for additional capacity as well. So we feel strongly that we can reintroduce Heartland here. We'll start shipping product within the next month or so, and we can come up with a meaningful amount of Heartlands to ship and not screw up with what we're doing at Jayco from capacity-wise or quality-wise or any of that.
If we look at what Heartland was in recent years, a well-known U.S. brand, will it essentially include most of the big names that it had?
Yeah, our goal is, I think you'll start to hear us start to talk about back to the basics. Our goal is to initially here, as we evaluate dealer sentiment and dealer needs, and going into a fall that is still going to be a bit choppy, I think we'll initially roll out a single lineup of products of names that you know. The Prowlers, the North Trails, the Sundances, the Bighorns, the Cyclones, stuff like that. And again, I think there's a lot of equity over the course of the years. Heartland was a meaningful brand. 2019, Heartland was a bigger towable company than Jayco, believe it or not. And obviously a lot had changed in the last 5 or 6 years for both. But we feel strongly that those names still mean something. We feel strongly that they mean even more with the power of the Jayco family of companies behind it. The response from the dealers so far that we've showed the protos to is overwhelmingly good or better than that. So we're simplifying that. We're continuing to evaluate what the other brands and how they'll fit in the lineup moving forward. But we're starting back to the basics, pretty simple, straightforward. Want to have a single flag model, Sherm? Very much in the spirit of what Jayco's always been. Like we want a dealer to be a Heartland dealer from top to bottom. Okay. I think a lot of people have mimicked that business approach that Jayco's had for a really long time, since over the course of years, and that's our plan in the fall. A single lineup of product with a single lineup of a single flag dealer in markets.
Very good.
If I'm a guy walking the corridor, so to speak, of the open house, I'm going to see Jayco, some of these products, right? Some of these Heartland products.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna, it'll be no different than what you would see normally at an open house. We manage different families of companies today with Highland Ridge and Starcraft and Integra that operate as mostly separate businesses under the foundation of our stuff, and Heartland will be brought into that mix. And feel really confident with the way we're set up. We'll have a full lineup before open house, so there won't be any issue with that stuff. We're working through. We'll be at the Hershey show. Will really be the first opportunity for that. Again, the only thing that will feel from the Heartland side like it's part of the Jayco different than where they would have been before is they'll be next to us in our spaces together, like Integra and the other ones are. So it'll function a lot that way, a separate company that all under a family name at Jayco.
And so very much consolidated with the Thor layout at the open house.
Yep.
As usual.
Yes, absolutely. And I think again, we're going through the process right now. There'll be a lot of business handled ahead of there as we try to navigate resetting up the dealer body. As Ken mentioned, it is a much different setup. We're one thing we are married to is that business philosophy and the way we want to approach single markets, and that's will come with its challenges because a lot of different dealers have different products there, and so we're doing everything we can to do right by all of those dealers, and certainly have been proactive on that on any units that are in the field too. So I think we're excited. The dealers we've met with have been overwhelmingly supportive of what we're trying to do. I think they're not used to the challenge of I know you have certain expectations of maybe what you felt like was going on a few months ago with some of the Heartland brands, but today we're going to ask you to be a committed partner and stock all the products and go from there. But I think it's been a great week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Kyle, bring you into this real quickly then on the subject of dealers. The previous dealer base, there's some carryover, but we're also bringing in some new dealers.
It's a little, we had a lot of relationships. These guys had a lot of relationships, and so we're bringing all those relationships together, and we're kind of going through each market on its own and evaluating that. Still a work in progress. From my perspective, coming through this summer and walking through this integration, overwhelming confidence levels have just skyrocketed externally and internally. They said it. We're moving back in with our parents, but all that's done is just move the house back on the foundation, and it's stabilized, and that sentiment's already spread externally, and it's been a lot of fun.
They didn't throw out all your old baseball cards?
I haven't let them rummage through all of it.
I think that's the exciting part is through the integration. Kyle mentioned it, and we've seen that with the team. You imagine in March coming off of, a lot of change at Heartland and a tough market, by the way. And again, brands like Jayco, it's a premium brand, and still a tough market, and difficult to navigate, but even harder, for some of the other brands in Heartland in the middle of that. So you have that, and then all of a sudden we start talking about integration, and we start talking about reevaluating production facilities. And hey, by the way, Kyle, we need to relook at the sales team and every person. And now we start to look at a dealer body, and we're putting our best foot forward. Single flag model is something we feel strongly. Heartland, like a lot of other brands, go out and sell brand A to dealer X and have 7 or 8 dealers in markets, and creates a lot of confusion. So we think that, again, the single flag, and Cal and that team immediately felt like, they felt strongly that was the right approach. And then again, as we've introduced product, amazing. At the beginning of that thing in March, I had a lot of dealer conversations like, oh yeah, we don't want the product, it's terrible, will you buy it back, quality's not good, it isn't selling, to now dealers lining up. We're now 2 months into this thing of dealers lining up and jockeying for position in a bunch of different markets to be able to get the product, because again, the immediate response is, oh wow, Jayco has their fingerprints on this thing, and a lot of awesome people at Heartland, and we were able to integrate a lot of those guys into our team, like Kyle, and then a lot of brand equity, brands that have sold a lot of product over the course of years. Okay. Again, with Jayco fingerprints and DNA and leadership and facilities and expectations and strategy, all the things that go with that. So it's been a lot, and I can tell you, us 3 dudes, and I was just with our leadership team this morning. It is a lot. And our team loves it, and we love where we are here, setting mid-July, headed towards open house.
Before we get away, I think we should touch on the general tempo of business. In a crazy year for the industry at large and the U.S. economy to an extent. What is the atmosphere heading into the second half of the year here?
We just saw June results here in the last a little bit, and if you ever hear us talk about anything results-wise other than retail, remind me that I said that, Sherm, because that's what matters. And what's exciting for us is internally we continue to track up year over year retail registration-wise. Again, one of the philosophies that's important to us is we build the right amount. We don't have open inventory. We're looking at dealer inventory levels all the time, and we're retailing more than we did a year ago. We are starting to reduce dealer inventories as we go along, and so I feel like on the towable side, that's the case. Motors continues to be tough, and we're getting our unfair share of the motorized business here at Jayco and continue to gain share in that world, but it's tough. That climate, from a macroeconomic perspective, it continues to be tough, and with an expectation that the fall will be more of the same.
No instant turnaround.
Short of a massive rate change, things that we can't control, we spend all of our time. I'd like to think we spend all our time focusing on things we can control. So we're approaching the fall, in the world of Jayco, that it's more of the same. I think we'll get the benefit of people are excited that we're bringing Heartland back to market, and our intention is to build Heartland products and sell them. And again, based off of dealer feedback so far, dealers are going to buy them, and my expectation is to be at the expense of other brands in most cases.
Should we let them off the hook?
One last question, if you don't mind. Nic, Kyle, Ken, thank you first of all very much for having us over. Regarding product, Heartland product, since we're going to have their own production facilities eventually, is that a signal that we're not going to be, Heartland's not just going to be a Jayco clone?
I would say absolutely. I mean, I think if you go back to early conversations as we talked about getting responsibility for what Heartland was and bringing it here, and we kind of hit on the number one thing we wanted to do was we had to get people's confidence back in Heartland. I think these guys have hit on how we were going to do that from a quality perspective, things we can do by bringing them here, but it also does add in new challenges for us, which is navigating keeping products differentiated, which we feel like we've nailed after going through the protos here of that. And I think that's certainly the reason, but we're acutely focused on keeping them separate. And I think the way each team has an influence on that. Every sales team's a little different as far as what they want. And we've always been, our product feedback and everything is driven by dealers and by our sales teams. We want to have everybody have an input. It's not one voice of a product expert that designs all that stuff. So that has allowed too for some different avenues and making that easier. So I think that was one of our concerns we would have highlighted initially before making the decision. And I think we found it really, it probably exceeded my expectations how quickly we were able to do that. And then that's where the opportunity is for us on the Heartland side is now you can still build unique product and we can do it here. And we have a PDI facility across the street that every one of them can go through. And some of those core foundational things that we can add value to the product, we're going to be able to do and turn around what dealers' experiences have been with Heartland without affecting, because we don't want to turn around the experience our Jayco dealers have been having, because that's important to us as well.
And one last thing for you, Kyle. We've been talking about Heartland products. Cruiser and DRV is still part of the picture, right?
You know, we've been solely focused on, Heartland's a much bigger company than the Cruiser and the DRV side was. And so it was important to us to get those flagship models off the ground first. So that's kind of your wave one, and you'll see that at Open House. And as that dust settles a little bit, we'll circle back around and kind of figure out the Cruiser DRV side.
Very good, very good. Gentlemen, again, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
We appreciate
Thank you.
it.